When it comes to rhythms, Christ is your savior. Follow us, feel the funky behavior. Make a note of the rhythm we gave you. Feel free to drop your name.
Hey folks, can you hear me? Eyes out for good. Eyes out for good. Eyes out for good. Eyes out for good. Y'all. Eyes out for good. Eyes out for good. I'm going to not put these two mics next to each other because you want to hear me and I want to hear you. Hey everybody, I'm Ezra, one of the co-founders of Indivisible. Any Indivisible fam here tonight? I love you guys, I love you gals, I love everybody here who's showing up to be part of the fight for democracy. That's why we're here, right y'all? That's why we're here. I want to start by listening to the words of Renee Good's wife, Becca Good. She released a statement a couple of days ago, and have y'all read this statement? Well, you're going to hear it again, because if you haven't heard it, it brought tears to my eyes more than once. I'm going to give you a couple of snippets from this. The kindness of strangers is the most fitting tribute, because if you encountered my wife, Renee Nicole Macklin Good, you know that above all else she was kind. In fact, kindness radiated out of her. Renee sparkled. She literally sparkled. I mean, she didn't wear glitter, but I swear she had sparkles coming out of her pores. All the time. You might think it was just my love talking about her family, but her family said the same thing. Renee was made of sunshine. Renee was made of sunshine. We're here to remember Renee, but we're here to remember everybody and every community that has been terrorized and victimized by this lawless agency. ICE out for good. ICE out for good. ICE out for good. Y'all, she was a mom of 3 who had just dropped off her kid at school, and she did the most human thing you can imagine. She saw her community in distress, and she decided to exercise her constitutional rights to come to their aid. And they shot her in the face 3 times for it and labeled her a terrorist. Shame, 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 shame. They called her a terrorist as a message to you all. That's why they called her a terrorist. They know who she is. She is one of the millions of people in America over the last year who have been protesting against a fascist takeover of our government. Are we with her? Yeah! Are we going home? No! Are we intimidated? No! You know what? Everybody here has something in common with the people of Minneapolis then, because I heard from Indivisible Twin Cities leader Lisa. You know what she said? She gave me a message. I'm going to read you that message. It's not that long. We're not giving up. We're not going away. We're not intimidated by them. Are we intimidated by them? No! Are we going to stand up and fight for our community? No! For our neighbors? No! For our democracy? No! Are we going to let this agency get away with murdering Americans in the streets? No! You're damn right we're not. What are we here to do? We're here to express outrage, right? We're outraged. That is our job as Americans, to be outraged at this injustice. That's the power we have. But the good news is there's a lot more power out there. There are people in positions of power that can do more than express outrage. We have elected officials who can do something, and we have a message for them. Do something! Do something! Do something! It is not our job as everyday Americans to write regulations or pass laws or devise a legal strategy. That's their job. Our job is to be outraged. Their job is to act. Do something. Do something. Do something. Do something. Do something. We are going to hear from a few of the elected officials who are on our side tonight, and they're going to tell us what they're going to do. Are we going to back them up? Are we going to back them up? Are we backing them up? You're damn right we are. But before we get there, I want to turn the mic over. We've got a great lineup here to talk about the moment we're in and what we're doing next. And first, I want to welcome Paul Rauschenbusch from the Interfaith Alliance up to share some of his thoughts with us right now.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Reverend Paul Brandeis Rauschenbusch. I'm a Baptist minister. I'm the president of Interfaith Alliance, and I am one of the thousands of faith leaders across the country from every background and tradition who are showing up and speaking out against ICE's lawless operation and President Trump's abuse of power. Before I offer my remarks, we will honor the life of Renee Nicole Good and the lives of all those killed by DHS brutality and in ICE detention. Please join me in a moment of silence. May the memory of all those who have died be a blessing and inspire us to work for a future in which America is free from the cruelty, violence, and abuse by ICE that led to their deaths. All across America, people of faith and moral conscience are in a state of heartbreak and outrage as we see our families torn apart, communities invaded, and our neighbors abducted. We are experiencing a pastoral emergencies as unidentified masked agents terrorize our homes, our shops, our schools, and our houses of worship. These abuses are being fueled by a blasphemous co-opting of my faith by adherents of a white Christian nationalist agenda. The Department of Homeland Security has even co-opted the Bible in videos and ads to bless its cruelty with a twisted and extreme interpretation of faith that targets the most vulnerable among us, in particular, those who are not white and those who are not Christian. Let me be clear from my faith and the core of my being, ICE's ruthless and unhinged campaign is an affront to the divine commandments to love our neighbor and to welcome the stranger. We cry out to the leadership and the foot soldiers of the Department of Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Repent of the violence in your hearts. Repent of the harm of your hands and turn back towards decency, democracy, and love. We in the faith community today demand that our political leaders end these reckless immigration raids, and we oppose any bill that would add to ICE's already massive budget. Make no mistake, faith leaders and religious communities are committed and mobilized. All across the country, we, the people, are showing up to counter ICE's brutality with the moral power of nonviolent, peaceful protest. We will counter chaos with community, confront partisanship with patriotism, and distill dispel dystopia by insisting on an American future free of fascism, in which we might all live together freely without hate and fear. May we live into the sacred promise that out of many, from every background, race, religion, or status, we might truly be one. May God grant us the courage to hold on to what is good, look deep within our hearts, choose love, not ice. Ice out for good.
Ice out now. Ice out now. Ice out now. Ice out now. Hey folks, we've been talking about the importance of expressing outrage, of expressing remorse, of expressing appreciation for people all over the country who are showing up. That is our job. But the good news is we have allies who have power themselves. Some of them have a job in the U.S. Senate. And one of those allies on the forefront of this fight right now is Senator Chris Murphy.
Thank you, Ezra. Good evening, Patriots. I have a feeling that you are here because you want to speak truth to power. Am I right? And so we're going to talk tonight about a lot of hateful, divisive things that are happening in this country that we are against, that we deem to stop. But let's take a moment to remember what we are for. We are for a nation that is defined by the strength of our immigrant communities. Correct? We are for the millions of jobs in this country that are created and staffed by our immigrant. Correct? We are for the vast cultural and social reservoirs that are created in this nation by the contributions of millions of immigrants. Correct? This is a nation that is defined by our immigrant past, by our immigrant present, and by our immigrant future. And we are not going to let this president rewrite the basic foundational strength of the United States of America, which is a nation of immigrants. But let's be clear what the stakes of this moment. Let me be clear what the stakes of this moment are.
Raise the microphone.
There we go. And let me be clear about our work ahead of us. The United States Congress should not fund a Department of Homeland Security that is not obeying the laws of the United States of America. Every day, this Department of Homeland Security is not making our communities more safe. It is making us less safe. They are in our cities not to protect us, not to enforce the laws, but to seek out confrontation and chaos. It is not too much to ask for the Congress to say this. If we are going to fund the Department of Homeland Security, we want to fund an agency that is simply complying with the law. And so I deeply appreciate the fact that you are here putting pressure on your elected officials to do the right thing, to use this moment to make sure that if we are going to add our votes to fund this department, that we are not funding a level of lawlessness, a level of inhumanity that is putting every single one of our neighbors at risk. So this is important that you are here. Your voices are important at this moment. And I'm so glad to be here with many of my colleagues who are engaged in this fight together. But let me also say this to you. understand why the President of the United States is trying to turn this nation against each other, trying to convince us that we have something to fear from our neighbors. He is trying to tell you, he is trying to convince you that immigrants are the greatest threat to our democracy, to hide the fact that Donald Trump is the greatest threat to our democracy. He wants us to be at war with each other, fearing our neighbors, in conflict in our communities, as a distraction from the fact that every single day he is stealing from the American people. This is the most corrupt White House in the history of this country. And so our job has to be to both walk and chew gum at the same time, to stand up and protect our immigrant communities, to demand that ICE act in a lawful way, but at the same time to expose the most corrupt administration in the history of this country. I believe that we can do both of those things at the same time. So we are here to tell you that there is no anger, there is no anxiety, there is no fury that you feel about the violence that is being brought to our cities that cannot be addressed by political action. You should demand that your government does better. You should demand that we make sure that this appropriations process is used to make ICE comply with the law, and also, and I see a lot of signs out there, not one additional dime for ICE in this budget. Those are not unreasonable things to ask. Those are not unreasonable things to demand, that ICE comply with the law, that DHS complies with the law, that we don't expand the scope of this operation. But it will only happen with your voices, with your presence, and with your votes. And so I am here to say thank you for the time that you are spending on behalf of this nation, on behalf of the vital project of making sure that we stand up for our immigrant communities, and we make sure that if we are putting dollars on the table for the Department of Homeland Security, it is only in service of a department that complies with the law. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it.
No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. Defund ICE. Hey, y'all. There are a lot of senators in the U.S. Senate. If your senator isn't coming to speak here tonight, maybe call up your senator tomorrow and ask, where the hell is he? Where the hell is she? Why aren't you fighting for us right now? I have the pleasure to introduce one of those senators who is fighting for us. Many of you might have seen this video last year. You have been asking representatives to actually stand up to this regime, to put their own bodies on the line. This video was shocking when Senator Alex Padilla confronted this regime and they tackled him to the ground. I want to hear what he has to say. Senator Alex Padilla.
Thank you all for being here. Let me start just by asking today what I asked back then. If that's how this administration responds to a senator with a question, imagine what they're doing when the cameras aren't on in every corner of the country. Because we see what's happening when the cameras are on, right? But if that's how fearful this administration is of one person with a question, imagine how fearful they are when they see gatherings like this, when they see marches on No King's Day, and when they see us all go to the ballot box this November. Absolutely right, absolutely right. So I too want to say what Chris Murphy said, everything he said. That's just the starting point. And I too want to thank you all for being here, because by being here, it tells me, and it tells the White House and everybody in this administration that we refuse to be silent. We will continue to stand up. We will continue to speak out. We will continue to speak the truth because we see the truth with our own eyes. We're not going to fall for their lies, their distortions, their attempts to rewrite history. See, they don't want us to believe what we see with our own eyes. What we've been saying for the better part of a year now. An administration out of control, ICE agents, Border Patrol agents, relentless in their cruelty and their aggressiveness in communities like Los Angeles and Chicago and Portland and now Minneapolis and beyond. What they're doing is not law enforcement, it's intimidation. What they're doing isn't about safety, it's about scaring communities. What they're doing isn't even about accountability, it is nothing other than an abuse of power, and we're not going to stand for it. I'm offended and I'm outraged by what we've seen ICE and CBP in schools, in churches, in hospitals, creating fear and terror in our community. And especially what we saw last week in Minneapolis, a community that knows all too well what it's like when those who are sworn to uphold the law abuse their power. Untold pain. And we've all seen it, an ICE agent killing a United States citizen. Now let's say her name, Renee Nicole Good, a citizen, a mother, in my opinion, a patriot, doing nothing other than lawfully observing immigration enforcement operations. She should be alive today. And to try to prevent more tragedies, we have championed reforms, not just through the appropriations process, as Senator Murphy has outlined, but with legislation like the Visible Act. No more agents without identification hiding behind masks coming out of unmarked cars. We are better than that. And how about the Accountability for Federal Law Enforcement Act? Because if this Department of Justice won't hold law enforcement officers accountable to make sure they act within policy, then let the citizens bring about lawsuits to seek accountability. Because it shouldn't take more videos to go viral. It shouldn't take more killings and assaults. It shouldn't take more of the abuse of power than we've seen, because our demands are simple. ICE out of schools, ICE out of hospitals, ICE out of churches. No more terrorizing our neighborhoods. We demand accountability for federal law enforcement officers. We demand justice. We demand justice and respect for civil rights and the Constitution for everybody in America. Thank you all for being here.
ICE out now! ICE out now! ICE out now! Can I tell you one of the frustrating things over the last year or so, as Trump built up his secret police force, as he started deporting Americans overseas, what we saw from some members of the Democratic establishment was, that's inconvenient. We don't like that. That's a loser issue for us. We shouldn't be talking about that. Let's try to ignore it. Now, in one of the worst periods of this moment, as the regime was deporting Americans to a gulag in a foreign country, we saw one senator stand up and say, "Fuck that! We're not going to accept that. I'm going to go down there. I'm going to get my constituent back, of Mr. Abrego Garcia. That senator goes by the name of Senator Chris Van Hollen. Please welcome him. Thank you, Brother Ezra. Thank you, American patriots all. Thank you to Indivisible and Move On, who have organized this, and to all of you for answering the call to protect our Constitution and protect our democracy when they're under assault by a lawless president. Are we going to make sure that we overcome? Are we going to make sure that we, the people, prevail? You bet we are. That is why all of you are here. And one of the most lawless, one of the most obscene examples of this administration's abuse against the people of this country is what's happening at the Department of Homeland Security and ICE. They lie. They have no respect for the truth. They send mass people out into neighborhoods all over the country. These are people like Kristi Noem, directed by people like Stephen Miller, people like J.D. Vance, who was lying through his teeth the other day, and of course headed by the liar-in-chief, the lawbreaker-in-chief, Donald Trump. So we are here to say, not one more dime for Donald Trump's ICE operations. They break the law. They lie about it. You know, I remember when they said, oh, they were going to go after what they called the worst of the worst. They lied. They're going after moms taking their kids to school. They're going after dads bringing their kids home from their after-school activities. They're going after pastors on the Eastern Shore of Maryland. They're going after small business owners in Frederick, Maryland, and all over the country. They're going after people who have become community leaders, people who are loved and beloved and respected by people in their communities. ICE's own data show that more than 80% of the people they're rounding up pose no public threat, and you know what they did? They decided to get rid of the data. So in addition to breaking the laws, in addition to lying, now we see ICE killing a 37-year-old mom of 3 kids in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And we are here to say, not in our country. We will not let this continue to happen. And we could all see that video with our own eyes. Put your hands up if you saw that video. We could see exactly what happened with our own eyes. And yet you have Kristi Noem and the vice president and the president trying to gaslight the country, trying to tell people that their own eyes are lying to them. Well, our eyes are not lying to them. What happened was inexcusable, and they need to stop lying about it, and we need to make sure that there's an independent investigation by the state of Minnesota. Just like in each of these cases, we need independent investigations, because we're so sorry, but the reality is we cannot trust our own Department of Justice anymore under Pam Bondi. So we're in a hell of a situation. That's why it's important that you're all here, and it's important why you have independent investigations. I can give you an example from my state of Maryland. A few weeks ago on Christmas Eve, there was a vehicle ramming and a shooting. And ICE and the DHS put out their own version of events. Well, then the Anne Arundel County Police conducted their own investigation.
And surprise, surprise, it turned out that DHS lied through their teeth, and they had to reverse that statement because of the independent investigation. This is why we can no longer, sadly, trust the federal agencies to conduct these investigations. Imagine what would have happened in Minneapolis in Renee Good's case if there had been no video. This is why we want every person in law enforcement, whether they're local police who have cameras or federal law enforcement agencies, they should all be wearing cameras so that we can see exactly what has happened. You know, myself and my office have been working with a mom from the state of Maryland. She lived here 20 years. She has 4 kids. She was snatched off the streets by ICE a couple weeks ago. She asked to be released to be able to visit with her 15-year-old son who was dying of cancer. They said no. Shame. They said no. He died the next day. Her son died the next day without being able to say goodbye to his mom, and his mom unable to say goodbye to him. That is the lack of humanity. That is the lack of basic human decency that we're seeing from this administration. And that is why you're all out here. We are now working very hard to make sure that this mom at least is released to go to her son's memorial service. Can we do that together? As Ezra said, you know, this has been going on for way too long, since the earliest days of the Trump administration. And I do remember when I got word that a man by the name of Kilmar Abrego Garcia had been snatched off the streets of Maryland and taken from his wife and kids and deposited in a gulag in El Salvador in violation of his constitutional and due process rights. And it's very true, as Ezra said, there are a lot of folks who said, well, let's not worry about that. But you're all here because you worry about protecting our Constitution. And you worry about protecting our democracy. And that is why I went down there, to make sure that he was alive and that he could come back and at least be in front of the courts of the United States of America. And they continue to engage in a political prosecution against him, and so we need to remain firm and stand up for justice in America. We have an administration that doesn't believe in justice for all. They just believe in justice for their buddies and the people they pardoned who beat police officers bloody on Capitol Hill on January 6th. They have no respect for justice and no respect for the rule of law. That's why you're all here, because you love our country and you want to make sure you protect our democracy and our Constitution. So keep turning up the heat, because you know what melts under heat? Ice melts under heat. So no more funding for the Trump administration's lawless ICE operation. Are you with me? Are we in this together? Thank you, patriots all.
ICE out for good. ICE out for good. ICE out for good. I gotta say, y'all, I got teary-eyed hearing about Senator Van Hollen's constituent son. That is, it is hard to live in this moment, because day after day we see atrocity after atrocity. Some of it's reported, some of it we see on the screen. And how do you maintain hope in a moment like this? It feels like they're all powerful. It feels like they're not just slowing down, they're ramping up. They're doing more every day. But let me tell you, that assault on us, on our friends, on our community, that doesn't come from a place of strength. That comes from a sense that they are embattled. They are terrified of us. They are terrified of our whistles. Can I hear those whistles? They're terrified of our organizing. They're terrified that we are going to understand something central to this moment, that there are more of us than there are of them. And we can show up at a rally like this, but we need allies. We need allies in Congress who are actually going to fight. And I want to hear from one of those allies in the Senate right now. Are y'all here? Senator Markey, can you come talk to us about the current moment?
Thank you. And thank you all for being here, because last week, a masked ICE thug killed Renee Nicole Good, a 37-year-old mother of 3 in Minneapolis. She should be alive today and with her children today. Renee Nicole Good was murdered, plain and simple. And this deadly tragedy is yet another example of law enforcement's excessive use of force. It is yet another example of ICE's lawlessness. It is more evidence that ICE is hurting rather than protecting our communities. President Trump, Vice President Vance, Secretary Noem have all peddled lies about Renee and about the shooting in blatant contradiction of what Americans have seen with their own eyes. This is gaslighting on steroids. It is disgusting. Last week, J.D. Vance said that the ICE thug was just doing his job, murdering a young mother and orphaning her child is not a job, it is a crime. Just yesterday, Trump blamed Renee for her own murder due to her alleged disrespect. When masked federal agents can shoot and kill anyone with impunity solely because their egos are bruised, we must demand accountability. This administration has proved time and time again that it is only interested in vengeance, that it lies, and that it lacks all humanity. Today, 6 federal prosecutors resigned because the Department of Justice wants to investigate Renee's widow rather than Renee's killer. That is a department of injustice. So we must be for a reckoning for Renee and for all victims who have had their rights violated and their lives brutally taken by the reckless and inhumane actions of the Trump administration. ICE has become the criminals they say they are supposed to be catching. And that is why we must end qualified immunity, which shields law enforcement officers from liability for murder and other wrongdoing. In 2020, I introduced with Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley a bill to do just that in response to the murder of George Floyd. Now, just 5 years later, Renee was murdered mere blocks from where the police murdered George Floyd. Today, I introduce with, again, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, legislation that abolishes qualified immunity, that shields federal law enforcement officers from accountability and gives victims the power to sue. We need a thorough, impartial investigation of Renee Good's murder. We must stop funding DHS and ICE thugs, and we must demand that ICE leave Minneapolis and other communities to prevent further escalation and tragic deaths. I will not rest. I will not rest until justice is achieved. I will not rest until our communities feel protected. I will not rest until the truth of what happened in Minneapolis comes to light. I thank all of you for everything that you are doing to bring justice for Renee Good.
Y'all, we're here to remember Renee Good, but nobody here is under the illusion that Renee Good is the only victim of this lawless regime, right? She just dropped off her kid before they shot her. Mere weeks before that, Silverio Villegas Gonzalez had just dropped off his kid at school when ICE killed him. 2025 was the year that we saw the most people under ICE custody killed by ICE since its founding in over 2 decades. They attack immigrants because they think we're not going to stand up in defense of our neighbors. They attack immigrants as a prelude to attacking all of us. Are we going to treat an attack on one like an attack on all? Yes! Are we going to show up in defense of fellow Americans who are being threatened by this regime? Yes! You're damn right we are. I'm pleased to be able to introduce Nadia Salazar from Movimiento Migrante, D.C. Right here.
Peace, everyone. My name is Nadia. I'm co-founder and organizer of Movimiento Migrante DC. I'm also senior campaigns manager of the DC Fiscal Policy Institute, and I'm a very proud Bolivian immigrant. We're here to mourn, to remember, to know Renee Nicole Good. She was part of our community. She was like you and me. She was a mother that had babies at home waiting for a bedtime story, a daughter with a mom waiting on a daily call, a poet with pieces to still showcase, a wife who had a love waiting for her to bask in, a brave community member who cared for her neighbors and protected them like you do. Renee was doing what we all should be doing, caring for her neighbors and showing up in a time where they're disappearing to a well-oiled deportation machine. Renee's life was taken by an ICE agent, who with impunity took her life and prevented medical care to get to her. She deserved to go home to her family. She deserved to celebrate birthdays with her family. She deserved to celebrate holidays. She deserved to see her babies and raise them. She was supposed to be here. It's so telling of where we are when her life was taken less than a mile away from where George Floyd's life was taken, to the same state-sanctioned violence that we're here to stop. Today, I stand here before you to scream, ICE out for good. ICE out for good. ICE out for good. ICE out for good. ICE out of our elementary schools, ICE out of our hospitals, ICE out of our metro stops, our neighborhoods, and our lives. We ask for an ultimate end to this occupation from Gaza to Washington, D.C. We ask for the militarized forces who brought nothing but anguish and fear to leave. We ask for politicians to choose families over feds. I stand here as a parent and wonder what world we're shaping for Luna. I stand here wondering how many mass monsters, how do they sleep at night knowing how many families they've ripped apart, how many families they've separated, and how many people they've shot, how many people they've disappeared. This is a fascist regime. We live in a time where our black neighbors have been disproportionately targeted by a racist judicial system, where we see the same apparatus targeting immigrant communities with the same impunity it has operated with since its inception. After all, this land of the free and home of the brave was built on nothing but genocide and forced labor. and kidnappings. After all, America is really living up to its name that many marginalized nations call it, the Yankee Empire. After all, it is the U.S. that exported ideas of private prisons and criminalization of bodies for profit, which led to the creation of damn near concentration camps like Secot, where some of our neighbors are ending up at. Today we recommit to rejecting systems and politicians that capitalize from our bodies and our lands and sell us to the highest bidder. Today we remember that we'll seek justice for this tragedy. Today is about Silverio Villegas Gonzalez. Today is about Keith Porter. Today is about ending these killings. Today is about Mr. Brown, who was shot multiple times by HSI agents on Benning Road. It's about the over 25 people who died in ICE custody since this administration began. Today is about seeking justice. As someone who's been taken before by the state for exercising my First Amendment rights on Trump 1.0, I know the whole damn system is complicit and guilty as hell. We denounce this violence. We denounce ICE in our communities. We ask justice for Renee Nicole Good, Silverio Villegas Gonzalez, Keith Porter, Mr. Brown, and all the victims and survivors of state-sanctioned violence. We ask for ICE to leave our communities now. Today, ICE out for good. Today is about safety, which is brought by many of us in this community. To us, safety is clearly defined. Safety is children going to school without the fear of returning to an empty home. Safety is a mom showing up for her migrant neighbors, knowing she will return home to her babies without the threat or violence or death. Safety is investing in our communities and not putting a damn penny in the Department of Homeland Security. Safety is investing in us, not our surveillance or disappearance. It is protecting families, not feds. Today is about safety because safety is ICE out for good. A mi comunidad migrante, estamos aquí, los vemos, estamos unidos, estamos fuertes y no nos vamos. Thank you.
Yo, we've been saying ICE out for good. I think we want ICE out for good. And that's a slogan. That's a chant. That's something we all say. Can we nerd out a little bit about how we get ICE out for good? Because there's actually something we can do right now. We can do more than just chant. We can demand our elected officials act, and not just act with symbolic gestures. I like a symbolic gesture as much as the next guy. I like chants. I like outrage from my elected officials. But you know what I really like? I like it when they vote against one damn penny for ICE, which they have the power to do this month. This month, y'all. They're running out of money. This agency's running out of money. They're going to come back to Congress, to your Democratic elected officials, and they're going to say, hey, we need a little bit more cash, buddy. We got to go murder a few more Americans. Can you spare a couple $2 billion? Can we spare a couple $1 billion? Can we spare 2 cents? Go fuck yourself. Not one more dime. But the way we get there is by demanding our elected officials take those votes. It is not currently the unified Democratic position that ICE should be cut. That is not yet the position. How do we get them there? We organize. We organize. We organize. Who here lives in D.C.? I'm sorry, you don't have a senator or representative who has a vote because D.C.'s been denied representation. Boo, indeed. Now, earlier this year, last year, Free D.C.? Am I hearing Free D.C.? Am I hearing Free D.C.? Free DC. Did y'all know who I had to introduce next? Kaya Chatterjee from Free DC. Last year, when this regime was occupying DC, what did Free DC do? They organized. They organized. Join me in welcoming Kaya up.
So evening, everyone. My name is Kaya Chatterjee. I'm the executive director of Free DC. And as we gather here tonight, this is the 6th month of military occupation of our capital. And you know what they wanted to do by occupying our capital with the military? They wanted to suppress dissent. They wanted to make it so we'd be too afraid to come out. Is that what we did? We are out here and we are still defiant. It's been 6 months of having the military walk around. It's been 6 months of having this surge of federal forces raiding our high school football games, kidnapping our neighbors out of their beds in the middle of the night, violating our rights, and we are still out here defiant. And it's been a year, and depending on how you count it, it's been decades or longer that Congress has been attacking DC. And I want to reveal to people here tonight who don't know, they are trying to remove due process in DC. Congress is doing that. The House has passed bills to do that because they want to suppress dissent, because they want to prevent a transfer of power, because they want to continue this cruelty forever. Are we going to let them do that? So we in DC are very clear. We are not going to stand idly by while people are being attacked. Nadia mentioned Philip Brown. I just want to add a little to that story. He went out to get milk for his kids. He went out to get milk for his kids. He was driving on Bennett Road. He went out to get milk. He came home with a bullet hole in his collar. And the amazing overreach here is happening because of a lack of any kind of oversight. It is up to us at this point because there's no oversight. Dozens of people are dying in ICE custody. And I want to just take a minute and just bear with me because I want to take a minute and talk about this building behind us, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, the CBP. And I want to make it clear to you all how much things are out of control inside this building. There is nobody anymore working in internal affairs. Almost a year ago, the executive director of the Investigative Operations Division was fired. That was the first thing that happened. A year ago. What else happened a year ago, right? Then, 6 months ago, right when the occupation of DC began, the assistant commissioner was forced out of that same office. And then in December, just a few weeks ago, the deputy assistant commissioner was pushed out. So right now, no one, literally no one in this building is in charge of internal affairs. There are agents running around killing people, shooting at people, and they're not even pretending that there's anybody in charge of making that stop. And how many people here have worked for the federal government, have been a civil service? We know that every agency is supposed to have some internal oversight. That is gone. It's just gone. And so we cannot have any illusions right now that this FBI or this Department of Justice or this Customs and Border Patrol will do anything to seek out justice. What we have to demand is that we just cut the funding for all of it. Yes. And I don't have any illusions that this is going to happen tomorrow, that all these, these thugs are going to come off our streets, but I do fundamentally believe that it will happen and that it will get better and we will win. But it is going to take work. It's going to take folks like you coming out on a cold, dark night in January, which is amazing. It's going to mean that we have to use our power. Yes, we have to push our elected officials, but here in DC, we don't even have voting elected officials. So we have to use all the power we have. We've seen it working. We have to use our power as jurors. We have to use our power as taxpayers. We have to use our power as voters. We have to use our power as consumers, and we have to use our power as workers. And I want to invite everyone here to start to use that power. In 1 week from today, instead of gathering at 5 p.m. after work, we're asking you to leave work, to join us right over there on the corner at 14th and Constitution and join us at 2 p.m. because they need to start understanding that we will not let this go on forever. Eventually, we will stop working. We will stop buying. We will stop doing all of the things that they rely on us to do if they don't stop. So who's with me? Who's going to come out next Tuesday at 2 p.m.? Who's going to leave work? Who's going to show them we are going to shut shit down if they keep attacking us? That we are going to win. We are going to win because we are not going to let them attack us. We are going to shut things down. And if they are going to attack us, we are going to respond. Free DC! Free DC! Free DC!
Free DC! Free DC! Free DC! A senator wanted to join us. She could not join us, but Senator from Minnesota, Tina Smith, passed on a message. I do want to read this message because Tina Smith has been a real leader in the response to this. She says, "This is personal to me. Renee was shot and killed by ICE agents in a neighborhood that is only a few miles from where I live. Everybody should be safe no matter where they live. And yet this woman who was only trying to take care of her neighbors was shot and killed by federal agents. I've heard reports of tear gas and pepper spray being deployed at K-12 schools, daycares, requiring parents to take shifts in the parking lot to watch out for ICE. U.S. citizens avoiding leaving their homes out of fear of being racially profiled. A 16-year-old girl was approached by ICE carrying their giant militarized guns when she was just trying to go to soccer practice. But it's thanks to people like you," she's speaking to you, "that we all saw what happened. No matter how hard this administration tries to get us not to believe what we see with our own two eyes, it's not lost upon me that without that video, we would be in a much different place. We not only saw what happened to Renee, but also the immediate aftermath when a physician in the neighborhood attempted to get Renee to see if she could be saved. He was pushed away by ICE agents. We know that ambulance came immediately to the scene to see if they could get her to the hospital, but they literally had to walk a block to get to her. And yet Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and Kristi Noem and their ferocious following of keyboard warriors, within hours of the shooting, without even knowing Renee's name, branded her a domestic terrorist. Perhaps the only piece of optimism that keeps me going is the fact that I see so many of you standing up to show that this is not who we are, that we can make this country better, and that we stand for justice and accountability. They have underestimated the strength and resilience of Minnesotans. Bet your ass they have. That's my editorial. Our power is in our unity. It is in the peace that we bring to this discussion. It is in our determination and our resilience. Thank you for the work you all do every day. We feel the support in Minnesota, and we'll keep looking out for our neighbors. Tina Smith, everybody. Senator Tina Smith. The horns are here. We've done a lot of chanting. I'm going to try something chancy. I love a good chant. I'm not a singer. Are y'all going to help me with this? Yeah. remember Renee sparkled? Remember Renee was made of sunshine? I've seen a lot of lights out there. Can I see the lights go up? I'm really not a singer, y'all. Everybody's got to help me out with this. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. That's about as much as I can do. Thank you all. Side note, Spotify, after months of running recruitment ads for ICE, in between listening to Rage Against the Machine, you would hear a recruitment ad, come and join ICE. They got a little pressure over the last several months, and you know what they're not doing anymore? Those damn ads aren't on Spotify anymore. Pressure works, folks. Pressure works. Y'all, at the end of this month, we're going to see where Congress stands. And one of the best things I saw in the week after this horrific tragedy was a Republican member of Congress stand up and say, they just need to stop protesting. I gotta be honest, I love seeing that. Just seeing him plaintively, just look at the camp, they just need to stop protesting. Are we gonna stop protesting? They want us to be quiet. Are we gonna be quiet? They want us to just sit on by while our Democratic electeds vote for more ICE funding. Are we going to sit on by while that happens? Are we going to fight for this country? Are we going to fight for our neighbors? How many kings? How many kings? How many kings? Damn right. Okay, now I do want to do some chants. They call this a filibuster in the Senate. Here they call it organizing. Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here. Say it once, say it twice. We will not put up with ICE. Say it once, say it twice. We will not put up with ICE. No justice, no peace. Get ICE off of our streets. No justice, no peace. Get ICE off our streets. Hey, hey, ho, ho. These fascists have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These fascists have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These fascists have got to go. Ho, ho. You can do it. I'm not the leader of this movement. Y'all are. We can sing together. We can organize together. And most importantly, are we going to give up? No. Are we alone? No. Are they all powerful? No. Are we going to win? Yes. Yes. Yes, we are. Oh, I have good news. I just got a note. It's feeling kind of cold in here. I have good news. Frost is on the way. Representative Maxwell Frost is on the way. He's gonna, look, there's a common misconception, I think, right now of what's happening on Capitol Hill. There's vision of the Democratic Party that it just will not show up and fight, that it's all rotten. And I'm here to tell you that is not true. As of a year ago, what we heard from most Democratic electeds was, resistance isn't going to happen. Trump is in. He's popular. He's going to get what he wants. But there were members of Congress out there who are willing to stand up. And it is our job to stand in support of them. Are we going to support them? Yes. When earlier in the regime, we heard that they were going to bulldoze through Project 2025. We heard from members of Congress, well, what are you going to do? They got the Senate, they got the House, they got the presidency. We don't have any power. Do we have power? Yes. You're damn right we've got power. No hate, no fear. ICE has no business here. No hate, no fear. ICE has no business here. No hate, no fear. ICE has no business here. No hate, no fear. ICE has no business here. I keep on thinking about, y'all, I keep on thinking about the note from Becca Good, where she said that Renee sparkled, that she was made of sunshine. Everybody here has somebody in their life who sparkles, who's made of sunshine. Can you think of that person in your life right now for me? Think of them in your head. Think of who that is in your life. The person who, if they saw somebody in distress, if they saw a community under threat, they would be the first one out to figure out, what can I do to help? And they would be out there encouraging others. Think of that person. Say their name out loud. I'll say Zeke. Zeke's my 5-year-old. He's adorable. You should see him. Zeke, when he was first going to daycare, it's a scary thing to go to daycare as a little kid, right? It's a new place. It's reasonable to be scared. And one of the ways we got Zeke past that fear is with Daniel Tiger. Do y'all know Daniel Tiger? Oh, I love Daniel Tiger. It's like a modern Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And Daniel Tiger has a whole a song and a book and a show that is focused on helping kids get over that fear when grown-ups have to drop off the kids. And it says, grown-ups come back. Grown-ups come back. And we got Zeke to eventually get to the point where the tears would stop and he would go into school, because we'd always come back. We'd be there to pick him up after daycare. His little sister's a brawler. She didn't need the help. But that's how we got through. And I think of Renee Good. And I think of Silverio. And I think of the countless families out there that are telling their kids, grown-ups come back. And sometimes they're not coming back. And uncountable number of kids out there are worried that their uncle or their aunt or their grandparent or their sister or their brother or their mother or their father, they're not coming back. Are we going to show up for those families? Yes! Are we going to back up those electeds who are fighting for us? Yes! Are we going to fuel the fire for reform that gets ICE out of this country for good? Yes! Are we going to welcome Representative Maxwell Frost to this stage?
How we doing tonight? Washington, D.C., how we doing tonight? I am so proud to be here with this group of freedom fighters, with this group of patriots who are simply asking our government to do one simple thing: follow the law, follow the Constitution, do what's written down on paper. We are here because we all saw the video of a citizen, and honestly, it doesn't even matter if you're a citizen or not, of a human being killed and murdered and honestly being executed by the state using our taxpayer dollars. And we're here because what we are saying is we want to use the tools that we have to say no to the Trump administration. No, you cannot use our taxpayer money to go into our communities, to go into residential communities, to go in our churches, to go in our schools and terrorize our communities and kill our people. We say, hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. And on a human sense, on the sense that we're talking about a man who looked this woman in the face, who looked Renee Nicole Good in the face, in the eyes, and shot her in the face. And then her car, in that moment, turned into a casket and rolled uncontrollably down and hit a pole. And as it went down, he called her a fucking bitch. But wait, because it doesn't end there. Minutes later, this administration, from Stephen Miller to Kristi Noem to the Vice President to the President of the United States, label her a domestic terrorist. And then, just an hour or two later on the Oversight Committee, my Republican colleagues have the gall to talk to us about due process. Yes, every person in this country is entitled to due process. But you know who didn't get it? Renee Nicole Good. Where was her due process? When that ICE agent was both the jury and the executioner in that moment. Where's the due process for the immigrants that are being taken from our schools, from our communities with no warrants? This isn't deportation. This is kidnapping. We call it what it is, not to be hyperbolic, not to make something out of nothing, but to be honest about what we see with our very eyes. And then this administration wants to lie to us about what we saw in that video. The calm tone that she had in that moment. The look on her face in that moment. She's dead because that ICE agent was angry. And he took that gun to take his anger out on one of us. And so what we say is we don't want ICE just out of Minneapolis, but we want ICE out of all of our communities. And we must ensure that we use every tool in our toolbox, which includes voting no on the DHS appropriations bill. No more funding for terrorizing our communities. No more funding for killing our people. Last year was the highest year of deaths in detention facilities by ICE. Shame. Shame. This is a righteous cause, and we will continue to fight together because we know that the power that is in this crowd and crowds around the country is insurmountable. That we, as we can continue to organize, will win. I know we will win. Do not let the opposition make you think that we're powerless, that there's nothing we can do, that there's no use in protesting, that there's no use in voting, that there's no use in organizing, that there's no use in direct action. We should and we can do it all. Use everything we can to say that we want our democracy back, and we're not going to let these fascist authoritarians take over this country. The Constitution is clear. All persons, not citizens, not people we like or people we agree with, all persons are entitled to due process. All humans are entitled to due process. Let me end by saying this. For so long, the right wing has held up patriotism as a vibe, as an aesthetic. But patriotism is more than bald eagle, flag, and beer. Patriotism is about loving the people who live in the damn country. Every single one of them. And if after an American citizen is murdered in the middle of a neighborhood, after dropping off her kid at school, if you can't come to the mic, no matter your political party, no matter what you come for, and express just a shred of humanity, you are not a patriot. You do not love this country, and you do not love its people. So let's continue to fight and say, ICE out of our neighborhoods! ICE out of our neighborhoods! And let's fight for our democracy. God bless you all. Let's keep fighting. Thank you!
Okay, we're all fired up by Frost now, right? We're just gonna go home and this is over now, right? No? Well, what are we gonna do tomorrow? We're gonna fight to get ICE out of our neighborhoods, right? And how do we do that? We get our elected officials to take a damn stand. So, this is it. I'm letting y'all go home, but I'm asking you, when you get home, think of somebody who lives somewhere other than D.C. and actually has representation in Congress. Call them up and say, one, why the hell aren't you supporting statehood from D.C.? And two, say, are you calling your representative and senators tomorrow? Are you showing up at their offices tomorrow? How are you pushing for your neighbors? Because now's the time to fight. Are we going to fight? Are we going to fight? ICE out for good. 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 That's a good night, y'all.